See a few people coming in. I thought, oh, let's get started in a bit. Got a few cool things set up for today. Gonna have a look at Fleet Commander Lorca. Alright, we've got about a minute. I did actually schedule this one, so I'm not expecting loads of people coming in, but we've got to get used to it. Just learning, seeing how it goes. I hope everybody likes my logo. Most people in game know me as Archer Ray, but in every other game I've played, I'm known as Jebu. Some people say Jibu. That's normally people from America. All those from UK call me Jebu. So that's my actual proper handle, really, Jebu, but in Star Trek Fleet Command I am known as Archer Ray. That's because my son is called Archer Ray, is his middle name. When I first started playing, it was set up under some sort of game center handle, which was called Archer Ray. I didn't realise you could change your name in Star Trek, so I played as that handle for ages, and that's what everybody knows me as. So, there we go. Right, okay, let's get started. Okay, so I've got a few things I do want to go through today. You see, I've actually put some slides together, because that's how sad I am. It's like being at work, but I wanted to actually show the impact of Fleet Commander Lorca, because I decided to spend the money to buy him. So I thought what we'd first do is actually go through Fleet Commander Lorca in the game, look at all his skills and his stats, and I can show you how I got him to level 100 immediately, the amount of skill points I got, how I spent them skill points, the ones I didn't spend on, and then we'll have a look at the impact that he generally has on the Zindian Armadas, because they're the ones that I've been doing for the SLB at the moment. So if I go into the game, first thing to show is I've actually ran a few Zindian Armadas already, so they've got this Echoes of War. So the other part of today's stream I want to talk about is this Echoes of War event, and there's a few different missions in here. There's one that's this heroic SMS, which is about starting Zindian Armadas. So I've started a few already. I've got like the first point, but unless you've been saving uncommon Zindian Armada starts for like months, I'm surprised if you're ever going to complete that, like ever. So the only real way you're going to complete this one is by buying Zindian Armada starts, which I'm just not going to do. So I'm not that concerned. I reckon I may get to 50k because I've got another couple of starts of these. In fact, I will do. So I'm hoping I can get to that second start, really. Oh, hang on. I'm going to join that. Give me a sec. In and it. And we'll send that over there. So, as you can see, my alliance has been running these pretty much all for the last day and a half or so. So, GBUK, really great alliance. So that's where we're in. So what I wanted to show was, here we go. So this is, let's do with the SLB. So this SLB here is about running Zindian Armadas. So there's different categories of this. If you are like a lower level, then you need to run this. I think you can just score off regular Federation, Klingon, Romulan, FKR Armadas, if you're kind of up to level 60, which is why I'm on level 59, you've got to score off Xindi Armadas. And if you're over 60, the big whales, then it's actually a cross-server SLB. And I think you can score off both Xindi and FKR, because that's what some of the 60 plus have told me within the alliance. But I'm level Ops 59, so I'm in the SLB, so it's just our server, it's not a cross-server one. And we've got to deal damage to Xindi Armadas, and we've got to deal isotolytic damage or critical damage to the Xindi Armadas. As you can see, I'm now currently in first place, so quite a healthy first place. Ara has recently moved up a little bit. It looks like him and Gecko's been running some Armadas from XXX, so they've kind of moved a little bit up, but I'm still got a healthy lead. And you can see our alliance GB UK we've got quite a lot in the top 20 because we've been running these for quite a while. But so anyway, the point is, I've kind of used these Xindi Armadas to represent the impact of like the buffs that you can do on your ship, and ultimately Fleet Commander Lorca, because he's the one who I wanted to understand how much of an effect the new ability has. And you'll see when I get to the slides that he has like a ridiculously large OP effect on the amount of damage that you actually do. Quite looking forward to using him in PvP, but I think you can only use him once every 8 hours. So the point being is, I've been running a few of these. I've got some logs which I've kind of been analysing and looking at, and today we're going to kind of look through Fleet Commander Lorca and have a look at the impact that he has. So we will have a quick look. In fact, first of all, before I do that, I'm just going to tell people I've gone live in the thing because they're all running stuff. Okay, so let me join this Xindi Armada because I get more points. Okay, and okay, so that's in. So, like, Fleet Commander Lorca. So, first thing to know about Fleet Commander Lorca is it's £100 to unlock. It seems a lot, but if you actually add up what you get for that £100 compared to a normal prime that you pay £100 for, I would say it's at least 10 times, if not 20 times better value than you would normally get for spending that amount of money. Because his ability that you can get, and the fact that you should have, if not already, been storing up your Fleet Commander skill points and your Fleet Commander experience, means that once you bought him, you should have been able to get him pretty much all the way to 100. So that's the first thing to know about him, is that once you bought him, he doesn't need any special experience, he doesn't need any special skill points. He just simply uses the same stuff that you would to, level up Locutus, Seven, Spock, Kirk, or Janeway. Obviously, Sloane's different because you need special skill points that you get through. That you can get through the fleet. What they're called, the refineries. So when you do the waves, so to get Sloane, not refineries, it's under factions. So to level Sloane, you kind of got to get Section 31 stuff and get the Section 31. Where is it? Bajoran. Which one is it? No. I'll choose Section 31. Yeah, well, it's one of them. So anyway, you need to be able to level him up with different currencies, but with Lorca you don't. So the reason why I'm saying that is because actually once you bought him for the £100, you can just tier him up, level him to 100, and get about 25,000 skill points. So I've actually already spent them already. But you can see here that we'll go through. So like basically for the cost of 1 prime, once you've leveled him, you get all this stuff for the cost of 100 quid. And I've said this before on the last stream for the people. It's not particularly. There's nothing in Star Trek Fleet Commander that's good value. Absolutely nothing, because paying £100 a pack is just ridiculous. It's like a night out with the family, but comparatively compared to what you would spend, I think it's good value. And I only tend to spend money on the game that I think's value. I've said this before. I don't spend money just to upgrade 2 buildings, or upgrade 1 building, or get 1 gun on a ship. It's just ridiculous. I would never spend £100 to do something like that. But this is probably adding me 70 to 80 million extra power onto my Sonpec, so it's a big impact. Not to mention this, which is what I'll talk about eventually, Lorca's Fist, which I think is totally OP both in PvE and PvP. So let's go through. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through each of the different skills and abilities, have a look at him, and then we'll go and have a look at the effect of him on the Zindi Armadas, which is currently the SLB that's on at the moment. So it's a decent test, because I think a lot of people will be running those at this point in time. Probably also worth noting, I can see 5 people are on, which is good. Don't expect hundreds of people. I'm only doing this to kind of learn. For those that don't know, the only reason I'm doing this is I'm not planning to be the next DJ, or I don't expect to have 500, 1,000 viewers. I'm just doing this because my son's getting into streaming, and I felt as a dad I should probably understand how to do it myself. So as he gets older, I kind of know what it all means. I know how many followers you need to get into the different affiliates and VIP statuses and the subscriptions and stuff like that. So I'm just trying to learn the platform, and because I've been playing Star Trek since it came out, then I thought I'd do it mostly on this game, but I do plan to do it on other games as well. So that's kind of a bit of a background as to why I'm actually doing this. So the only thing to note as well is, like, I do have like my phone just down here. I can see all the chats that are coming through and stuff. So if people did want to post in the chat, want me to do something or ask questions, then feel free to do. Don't be scared to do so. I'm happy to respond to them chats. So the first thing you'll notice, so we'll go through, I've spent most of my 25k skill points that I got into combatant, basically. So this is the area that I kind of spent them in, because to be honest with you, I'm more bothered about making my ship stronger than I am about efficiencies, but I have done some efficiencies as well. So the first thing you can see on there, like, there's 2 choices here. You can either do Wave Impulse, which increases impulse speed while in a wave defense, okay, or you can do, after destroying a ship, increase impulse speed until next battle or return station. So that works a little bit like the speed crew guy. So go to my speed crew on this guy, put my speed crew on this. Yeah, so he works almost the same as Kuron. So you can see Merciless Pursuit, after destroying the ship, increase impulse speed by 50%. So you kind of got to kill a ship, and then cancel. Once you've killed the ship, then you get the increase in speed. The reason why I actually think that were quite important, because before I had Lorca in, I actually had Kirkin, and the main reason I had Kirkin was because of the extra impulse speed that I got. So you got 40 bonus impulse speed, and it might not seem like a lot, but it really makes a massive difference. I can't underestimate the impact having impulse speed does on just your general gameplay, because when you're just coming on and doing your dailies, you just zip around. As long as your ship's strong enough to kill what you need, you can half or 80% reduce the time you need to complete all them dailies. So there'll be some days where you're not playing a lot all the time and you just want to get on, complete stuff. And being able to just zip around really quick is really good. And also in PvP, keep away from people who will kill you, and you can catch people that you can kill much quicker. So I just think it's really important to be able to have good impulse speed. So I'm always looking, and the fact that I took Kirk out, I think it was nice that Lorca had that ability. So you can see I've just maxed out. It's not quite as good as Kirk, it's 10 less, but everything else that Lorca gives is a million times better than Kirk. 1 second. I don't know why I've gone to that. I just want to go and join that. I don't yet. 1 second. So that one's still going. Once that's done, I'll join that. Must remember to join that in 3 minutes, or if that completes. Okay, so back to skill tree. So what I don't get about this skill tree, and I don't know if the devs realise this, but this goes up to 30. So you can increase base impulse speed in waves only up to 30. This goes up to 30 and can be used anywhere. So I don't know, am I missing something, or why would you ever choose that, which is only in waves, when you can choose that and you've got to select one or the other? So I don't know. If anybody knows why, maybe in the comments when I post this up, when other people maybe watch it, would tell me a reason why I should go for that over that. I don't know. Maybe let me know, but I don't see any reason whatsoever to select that over that. So anyway, I maxed that because I thought it was important. So the next one is increase isolated damage. So it's 20%. That's a lot. I mean, primes are less than that. You can buy primes for 100 quid on their own, which are less than that. So it's an absolute no-brainer. Isolated damage is really strong. Goes straight through shields. I know there's isolated defense, but unless you're a mega whale, you know, the damage outweighs the defense dramatically. And in PvE, it's just super strong in terms of hitting, you know, hostiles and mobs. So to me, that were a no-brainer just to max it out straight away. The two always on ones here are around shield health and around hull health. So you can see I've took them both to 500%, and the reason why I did that is because if I go again into Kirk, looks like we've just won that. I'll go and swap over in here. But if I go back into Kirk, you can see I did have here, look, maximum shields 425%. So, and that wasn't always on. So I kind of didn't want to lose that from when I took Kirk out. So to me, a minimum was to get up to like at least replace that which I had before. So let me join that. Let's see if I can get in this before it fills up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, I'm in. Okay. Go back to the things. So you have to put up with me doing that because I'm trying to win, as you've seen before that SLB. So if I go back to the skill tree, so yeah, 500% extra shield health, 500% extra hull health. Pretty solid. Again, to me, that's 2 primes. You know, so that's like 1, 2, 3 primes for already from 1. So I've already got 3 primes in 1 just by paying the £100 for Lorca. So incredible value already for a start. The next one is at the beginning of each round of combat, when your opponent has any status effect, increase your critical hit chance. So status effects: burning, hull breach, morale. So they have to apply morale themselves, which will happen if you're attacking an explorer. And in most of the cases, you're applying hull breach, or maybe you're applying burning, but most people apply hull breach. So, you know, I'd love to have took this higher because it goes up to 20%. So you pretty much all the time going to have a status effect applied. And once this is maxed out, I'm going to get like 20% extra chance of a crit. I took it to 5% because I wanted to spend on other stuff, but this is probably one of the ones that once I can get more skill points in, I will be putting it in. I think that's really strong. And the reason why it is because a lot of people run crews that are kind of anti-crits and anti-crit chance and anti-crit damage. Okay, I've just won that one. And to me, the more you can stack crit chance and the more that you can stack crit damage, then the more you can kind of counteract that. And there's so much research in the game that, you know, just because someone's got some, you know, reduced crit chance or reduced crit damage doesn't necessarily mean they're just going to zero you anymore. So the person who can like stack the most of them things in either direction, the person who is going to come out and top in PvP really. And like I said on previous streams, I pretty much everything I do is to maximise my chance of winning in PvP, and then the PvE stuff is kind of secondary towards achieving that. The next ones here, you've got to choose one of them, so you can increase either base weapon damage against players, you can do it against armadas or invaded entities, or you can do it against hostiles. Again, I've just gone for the PvP one, and I didn't really have that many points, but you get 200% for the first point, and then you kind of get 60 thereafter. So I went for the 200% there because that's probably the best value to be able to achieve. So kind of probably will boost that, because actually if you look at it, it goes all the way up to, what do we get? An extra 2000%. So it's a lot. 2000% damage is an extra lot. People think, oh, I know, but diminishing returns. I know, but you'll see soon that what the impact that this has. So if you keep stacking on 2000s, 1000s over and over and over again on base damage, it really does have quite a dramatic effect. And you'll see soon when I go through the slides the impact that this has. So this is the main thing that I wanted from Lorca. Is like every 8 hours I can use this ability, which gives me 13,000% extra damage. 13,000%. So I've maxed it out the best I can. I'm not quite command center 15. I think I'm 52. But you know, this goes up. What does it go up to? It goes up to 20,000%. So I might be able to get to that sooner, but I'm not going to get anywhere near these two. I bet you need to get it your command center really high. It might be ops locked, but still, you know, that's just epically large amounts. The only trouble is you can only use it every 8 hours for 1 minute. So it's not something you're going to be using all the time. But I'm suspecting that, you know, people who have got like Ops 70 or Ops 68, 69 with G6 rares or G6 epics, they're in for a surprise, because I think that people with really strong G6 rares or maybe even G5 epics maxed out, using that and cloak could be causing real trouble to them and shooting massively up. And if you kind of get a cohort of people in the same alliance doing the same attacks, then somebody who was predominantly indestructible before could find themselves in trouble and dying. So, but anyway, I've not tested it in PvP, but I've tested it on Zindi Armada, so we'll see that in a bit. So that's the combatant tree. You can see that a lot of my points have gone into that tree. This just seems stupid, but like for me, this is a really strong, the strongest of any of the trees that I've seen across all the fleet commanders. So the next one is leader, and you can see here the first one is efficiencies for material and resources on research and efficiencies on repair costs for ships. So you see I've not put anything into that. I mean, if I had plenty of points, then yes, this would help because it means that I can do more research, which means that I can save some of the resources to be able to use them on my ships and my buildings, but it just doesn't stack up for me compared to the others. Maybe if you're a big whale and you're throwing a load of money and buying a load of skill points, then maybe I think that, yeah, you would go for, I mean, this one, repair cost efficiency, I mean, I've got 13.4 million lat and like 4 million years worth of speed up, so like I just would never ever do that. 1 second. Let me send that across there. As you can see, being able to touch type really quickly really helps on Armadas when it's quite busy. So yeah, so I didn't go for any of them two. I don't think I'll, unless I've got loads of spare points. I can't see me putting anything in that repair cost for ships. So the next one, increased base artifact shards cost efficiency. That might be quite decent because the artifact shards are quite painful to get, but it's like the early levels 2, 3, 4, 5%. It's just not worth it for me, and you know, you would need to be getting up to level 14, 15, which is far too many points to be putting into it compared to other stuff. But what I did put in is cost efficiency on reactors and catalysts, and more for the catalyst, because you always come up every few tier ups on Forbidden Tech where you've got to get like 20 odd thousand catalysts to be able to upgrade. So I would think that's. I did this on the Lorca one as well. I always put a bit into the Forbidden Tech stuff because I think they're quite strong. So yeah, I went to that. And okay, the next two then, I just did. They can increase base cost efficiency on resources for buildings. I just did one because it was really cheap, and I got 25%. And again, you can see how the next one is only 8% extra. So the extra point in there, I think, was worth it. And increased base cost efficiency on materials for buildings. I did put 4 points in this to get it up because I'm trying to get to Op 60 so I can build my G5 Epic, which I talked about last time, that I'm hoping, but I've got enough stuff to get that up to 1.5, 1.6 billion straight off the bat. But I would like to put more in that and get it up to around the 90, 100% mark, but again, I kind of ran out of points, so I didn't really go so much on that one. The other one is increased base cost efficiency of material and resources when upgrading ship components. So I thought that was quite useful because again, I'm going to be upgrading my G5 Epic hopefully within the next 2 to 3 weeks. So once I get my G5 Epic ships, I want to be able to upgrade them. So that seemed like a good value 1 point to be able to put in there. And then for the same regards, my G5 Epic as Klingon will be an interceptor, so therefore getting a bit of resource efficiency, a bit of cost efficiency on them parts seemed like good value to me. And again, I'd like to try and put more into that. It goes up quite high, look up to 500%. I mean, that's really high. So like 500% efficiency on ship components. So I would have definitely liked to have done more on that, but you know, I spent it all on this combatant. I can see that Retro Furies put a hi in the chat, so hi Retro, thanks for listening in. There's not loads of you, but I do appreciate people who are looking in, and hopefully there's some useful information that comes from this, and I'll probably record this and stick it up on YouTube or put a link to the video. I think they only last 7 days, the videos on Twitch, so I'll probably need to turn it into an actual video or a clip or something and put it onto YouTube. but appreciate people coming in and viewing and saying hello. So yeah, so in terms of the tactician side, you can increase stats. I mentioned this before. I added 100%, just 1 point, and to get 100%, again, you can see that first point is always the highest value. So because this is always on, it'll be worth. I mean, I'm never not going to use Lorca, I think, because of some of the abilities, but like I would increase that one. So this one's interesting. I've actually got a few primes, not primes, like epic researchers that I had to do to unlock the critical damage one. So there's some that where you kind of gated that you've got to do these to actually improve, and it's actually quite interesting. It's like basically when you move it off a mine, you get a load more resources. So you just kind of move off it. Let's say you had like 10 million, and then you move off it, and then you all of a sudden get 12 million. So, but there's no way I'm spending points on it. It's mining, and why would anybody want to do that? So I guess if you were absolutely 100% mining focused, then go for it. But for me, it's a no-go. Warp speed's good, but I go fast enough, so I don't mind waiting a few extra seconds. Why would I forego 20% extra isolated damage to get a bit faster warp speed? It's not going to happen. And max cargo. So this is quite good. And on Sunday, I'm going to do another stream about setting up for lap mining Monday, and how you can always get at least 5 billion score. You should never be getting under that with what I should show you how to do, which even in the highest tier group gets you like a top 10 type position, and then if you use the feature around it, then you could easily win that if you want to, but it's just boring. But being able to stack your miners up to like 50, 60, 70, 80 million is really quite useful. But again, it's not worth doing on this. I did put a point in increasing piercing against players, just because it were 80% for one, and again you can see it's only 24% thereafter. But you could either do against Armadas, or you can do it against hostiles. Again, I went for the PvP one because over time I'll slowly add to that. And then I kind of ran out of points. Isolated defense I would like, but I found that isolated damage is a better bang for your buck than the defense. That's not to say I don't think it's important, and I do think I would love to have 60% extra athletic defense, but I think it's one that's just going to come over time. And then apex barriers, which are really good, but it's 100. Yeah, it goes up to 1,000, but that seems quite low to me. I mean, your officers do considerably more than that, and that's going to be a lot of skill points to get that up. So I thought that was quite underwhelming in terms of the amount of apex barrier you could get. But I guess it is working against. No, it's not working against allies. It's just against hostiles, really. So I don't know. Maybe later on they bring something in where you've got to have apex barriers against hostiles, otherwise you're just going to die. Then that probably becomes more useful then. But for now, it were a no-go for me. And this is kind of a defense. Weapons warm-up time during station defense, if they have been increased by another effect. I mean, to be honest with you, I have a shield up nearly all the time if I'm not out PvPing, and if I am PvPing, then I know I'm getting attacked, so I can just put a shield up from being attacked. So like I very rarely care whatsoever about station defense stuff. But maybe if I get to the point, it's only a one thing, and it could be worth adding on. So anyway, so that's Lorca's tree, and I think look at all that I've got. I've got impulse speed, isolated damage 20%, 500% shield, 500% health hull, I've got 5% extra crit chance. I've got 10% extra forbidden tech efficiency. I've got 24% cost efficiency on buildings. I've got extra efficiency on ship components and even more on interceptors, plus lots of other stuff. And I've spent nothing more than the £100 I originally spent, and leveled it to 100 and used the skill points that I got from leveling it to 100. The only thing is now I have no idea how to get more skill points from him. There's I don't think there's any way in the game you can get skill points for him apart from buying. So I'm waiting now to see what scope they bring into the game to allow me to be able to spend more skill points. Because I'm not going to buy. Because I said this the other day. Look at this. I'll go in here. Watch this. Look how much it costs. You got Lorca upgrade elite, £100. 4,000 skill points. Yeah, you get some gas and I get some more. But you're buying this so you can upgrade Lorca. 4,000 for 100 quid. So you're probably gonna. You'd have to spend like £1,000 to get a yeah, let's have a look it out. So I had 25,000. So over what 10? It's just what 5? It's like 500 quid to get even close to the amount that you got just for leveling to 100. Good luck to people who spend the money. Like I said to you, I've had this before. I'm kind of like, people can spend the money on whatever they want to. Do you know what I mean? And it's all proportional to the amount of money that you earn and disposable income that you've got. But it's not for me. I only buy things that I think are good value. Yeah, no, sir. There is no flat cap or whippets, but what I've got is pretty decent beer. So I'm going to have a few beers actually. This one's called Take Flight Sweetbird. And basically every month I get a craft beer pack sent, and they're from different breweries. And the latest one's quite good. This one is a New England IPA, 5.8%. So yeah, I'm drinking beer as a Yorkshireman, which I suppose is reasonable. So yeah. So there we go. So have we got any more going? I don't think we do. What I might do actually is set one going. Let's see if people want to join me. So set that going. Because I wanted to give some back to people, because people have ran loads for me. Oh look, so I can see now I have, I've got some more mirror dust, premium mirror dust, which is good. Still quite a few people are joining in. Oh, there we go, look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, full. Nice, there we go. Cool. So I'll set that one going. I think JC must be doing okay. He's our highest level JC. Show you our alliance. We've got 90 members. Rank it by power. JC, look. And lacks quiet, but he's super strong. His ships are really, really strong, but he's normally pretty quiet. But JC's our biggest whale that we got. You can see I'm kind of upper mid-table-ish in terms of things, but if you have a look at the strength of my ships, I do tend to kill anything up to like 63-ish, something like that, up 63s. I don't think I've ever lost to anybody the same ops as me as lower, but PvP will be one for another day. Okay, so what I want to show now was the effect of going to, well, this Lorca Fist. So the first thing to note about Lorca's Fist is that you've got to have Lorca in this left thing, because this is the only one that's got a little button. I'm guessing what they're going to do is bring more fleet commanders out with these abilities, and you've got to choose which one that you want. So therefore, only this leftmost fleet commander slot allows you to, activate the ability. So it wouldn't surprise me in the next arc whether we get another fleet commander, or maybe a few arcs down the line, with more of these abilities, and you've got to decide which one you want. And don't be surprised if you get a prime that allows you to have a second ability or a third ability. So I'm suspecting that there'll be £100 primes come out that allow you to add on additional fleet commanders. I did see today that they've brought out an ability to add another fleet commander, which I don't want to spend, but adding a fleet commander into these slots is just like adding a load of primes at once. So maybe it is something I might look at for the next month. But anyway, we're going slightly off set. So basically, I want to show the ability, the effect of this particular ability, in case you was wondering, should I or shouldn't I get Lorca Fleet Commander. So hopefully, first of all, you've noticed that, I would never advise people to spend £100 on any game ever. But if you are going to spend it, then you're already, without this ability, getting some really good skills. The only one that's even close to him is really Sloan. Sloan's got some great abilities as well, but maybe that's one for another day. So I'm actually going to flick across now to this slide deck. Let me go into the current slide. That was my. You like my logo? I didn't create it. I just typed in my work chat GPT. Create me a logo for a Jebu 1155 with a Sith Lord sci-fi theme, and it created that. And I thought, well, it actually created me a load of crap, and then I kept saying, create me something different, and eventually it created me that, and I thought, well, yeah, like that one, so that's what I've used, and apparently I own the IP of it, because no one owns the IP on ChatGPT stuff apart from yourself, so that were good. Okay, so right then, I put a few slides together, like I'm doing like a work meeting, but just bear with me because I wanted to be able to show through the impact of it. So we'll talk through it. So basically you can see, because I have got a G5 rare, my SOMPEC, which you can see in here, 755 million, level 40, I can only get to the 56. Now I'm pretty sure I would contribute quite nicely to a level 60 Zindi Armada, especially if I'm buffed and stuff, but I can't get the warp range. The next warp range above this is 900, which the SOMPEC just won't do, so I'll have to wait until I've got my G5 Epic and I can join, Fluffy, Elmy, JC, who have been running them particular Zindi Armadas. So anyway, we've been running these 56 Zindi Armadas, and you can see throughout this I've been going back and forth and trying to join them. In fact, people are expecting me to speed it up, but I'll probably just leave it. So this is like a group one that we did. You can see we killed it easy. I literally took no damage because there's 4 of us that, I think Misty started it, and this was one of the last ones that we ran, and people were dropping off. But we normally have 7 people. And the reason why I put this shot on here, just so you can see kind of, as a base, I had no buffs whatsoever. I used Cisco Miles, Cisco, for the crit chance and damage, and then Miles for the extra shots, and then Nero just to activate burning. I should probably use GG, but my GG's rubbish. And everyone says, oh, I'll just max her out, and I probably should too. Because GG, goes in the first round, whereas Nero just goes from round 2. But anyway, from round 2 onwards, because Nero's maxed, I'm always getting burning, so it kind of kicks in from round 2. I've got a max DZOC. That's important because I can get a simulate going. I think it's like 70 or 8% chance to to do assimilate after 95% damage to the target. So pretty much most of the time after round 2, because obviously I've got to do some damage in round 1, I'm doing assimilate. And the reason why that's important is because these things have special abilities where if you don't burn them and if you don't assimilate them, they can just like one-shot you. So, well, not really one-shot you. Maybe the higher ones do, but like they'll do significant damage to you. And then I've added on Torres because to get hull breach, which means to do more crit damage, and then Odo and Echoy because it gives me crit damage. And the reason I've done that is because the SLB is asking for extra points for crit damage. So I just wanted to max out my crit damage and just no buffs whatsoever in this particular one. So the reason I put this screenshot on here is that you can see I've kind of, in a, let's call it our test case, I'm doing about 300 million standard damage and about 225 ISO damage, which is quite a lot of damage still. It's not bad. You know, I was picking up 150 to 200 billion points per Armada just from doing this. No, maybe not that much. Maybe about 150 to 200, maybe 100, 250. I don't know. It was somewhere in that range. It weren't loads. It weren't as much as what I'll show you in a minute. But at the same point, though, it's still pretty reasonable. And there's also this debate about should I solo these things or should I do them with my teammates? And my conclusion, which I'll come to later on, is that you should do them with your teammates because you will, in the long run, get more points. Trust me. I'll explain why at the end. I did do some solo, but I made it very clear to my alliance that I'm doing that purely for this, so I could do some science to understand the impact of this. If it weren't for that, I would always run it with the entire team. You might think, why, Joe? Because you know that seems stupid. Why would you possibly want to do that? Because you get more when it's just you. But you know, between you as a group of 6 or 7, when you all run one, you're going to end up with more points than if you run one on your own. It's and also you don't want to be that dick that runs solo or models all the times. So there you go. So you can see there. You can see I've got crit, and that's just because a lot of my research, I've got like a lot of crit damage increase and a lot of crit chance increase, and I've also got Cisco, so kind of I crit most of the time. But as you can see the reference there. So then we go to the next one. This was the third one I did solo, but I've kind of done them in reverse order so we can build it up towards the maximum effect. So I've got the exact same crew, but this is where I've ran it solo, and the only buffs I had left at this point were my max 45 and a cloak. And you can see I kind of soloed this time the 56, and you can see my damage just there. You can see I took about, you know, if you look at the whole thing, probably about a third of my hull damage, and it took me 18 rounds. 18 rounds, and that was max 45 and cloak. And you can see that I about doubled my damage from having max 45 and cloak, which kind of makes sense because I'm doing more shots and I'm probably doing more crit damage because I've got cloak on and I've also got Locutus on, which helps. Maybe. I don't know if Locutus is PvP only, but either way, the cloak itself probably does, it definitely gives you more crit damage. So you can see I've got about 500 million standard damage and 377 million ISO damage. Just flick back, you can see there I've gone from 300 to 400 to 500 and 225 to 379. So it's not quite double, is it? But it's increased. So, well, that shows max 45 and cloak make a reasonable difference. So the next one is where I still had my Cerritos running. So you can see here that I took very little damage. That's probably, I don't know. I'm guessing that's just a. Well, there's two things. Because I've got the Cerrito buff going, I'm doing more damage again. So you can see this time I'm doing 637 million crit damage and 490 million ISO damage. Again, all crits. relatively consistent. You can see the number of rounds, look, has gone down from 18 to 11. So by dint of that, I'm taking a lot less damage. So just that little red bit there, probably 5%, maybe 10%, somewhere in the middle of that. Not much damage, basically, on a solo of a Zindi Armada 56, like the highest I can possibly do. So you can see there that the Cerrito has actually made a reasonable effect. It's like increased my standard damage from about 500 to 637, and my ISO from 379 up to about 490. So reasonable amount, and obviously because I'm doing more damage, killing it quicker, I also get all the other Cerritos buffs that kind of damage mitigation, shields, you know, more shield being added every round, etc. So pretty good. Happy with that. That's going up. And then my final one, which actually was my first test, which I've literally just gone all out and put everything on. Okay, so same crew. This time though, I do have max 45 3-2 cloak, and the Defiant was still on. But this time I hit the button for Lorca. So you can see I've gone from 11 rounds to 4 rounds. So, and it was that's Arch, my son. So I've gone to 4 rounds. So like literally, I've gone down by, well, not quite 300%, but it's reduced dramatically to 4 rounds. And why is that? Well, look at this: 2.1 billion damage critical and 1.6 billion isolatical damage. So I've gone from 637 to 2.1 billion, and 490 million to 1.6 billion. I mean, that's just bonkers. So the hull health, the net effect on hull, it's a shame that I can't use 6 on this because I'm losing 4 too much due to mitigation, but I can't not risk it without Nero. But maybe I could when I'm only going 4 rounds. Tempted to whack out Nero and put 6 on that because I reckon blast it out in 2 rounds or something like that. But because, you know, it won't mitigate nowhere near as much of the damage. Because obviously you can get up to 80% as a max. But anyway, so that's it. So that's, I wanted to show that because I thought if people are thinking what sort of effect does that Lorca buff have? Well, it's 6, 12, 18, 25, nearly 400% more net damage. So yeah, so someone's asking, would it help with your Q trials? Well, the answer to that is definitely yes, TK Max, because my other big whale in the big whale in our group, Jaunty JC we call him. He has been using this to do his where he got stuck on the Q trials, and it should just blast them out. I think it's a game changer for it. Now the only thing is about your Q trials is not so good for me because it's the only one I've not got. Is really another way that you can absolutely blast out your Q trials and beat them easy. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere in here. Which one is it? Which one is it? I don't know which one it is. But like Janeway, here we go. Increases base mitigation stats in Q trials. It goes up to 500%. Q trials accuracy and piercing 350%. Q trials damage extra explorers 500%. So before, when you see people that were relatively low level or even the highest level, and they were getting ridiculously high scores on, I'll go into this, they were getting really high scores on assessment rank. You can see I'm 32nd. which is not bad. If you look at all these people above me, they're all much higher level. So, although I'm going to shoot up this because I'm going to start using that Lorca ability on these Q trials. The way that you can get some of these really high scores. Look at JC now; he's up to 6. So he has started to use them on that. I mean, like Stormy and Ben, they've basically completed everything and steer. So these 3, it make no difference because they've got G6 rares, or with steer, he's got G6 epics now. Level 70. Well done, by the way, steer. I know you're in our the alliance that we have the biggest competitive rivalry with, but great work getting it to 70. Really good work. So yeah, so I would highly recommend that you do that. Yeah, someone. Oh, Broxy wants me to do that. Let's go there. If I can reach it. Yeah, I'll go there. Yeah, I only put the sound on Nutzer for this game because I've done it for the. So there's some noise when I'm playing, doing the stream. Normally I would have no sound whatsoever. But yeah, I'm just going to go over there and help out if he does start one. Perfect, right. I'll just have to keep an eye on that for to help out. But yeah, so like they were the 2 main things I wanted to go through in the stream today. Was, well, first of all, the fact that Lorca, I think, is the best fleet commander in the game by a mile, and I'm looking forward to being able to get more points to be able to put into it. I'm concerned that the only way to get more points right now is spendy, but that's always the same. And I'm hoping there's a free-to-play way of being able to do that. Maybe you've got to kill invasion mobs and they drop something, or maybe you got to use some of the new mirror, you know, the horde mirror mobs or the something like that to be able to. It's probably tied into the mirror. I would suspect. Use something that you get from the mirror universe to be able to get them. But I am looking forward to be able to add more points into him. But you just don't know, do you, with Scopely? They might keep it as... They might think, oh, well, people have been able to max him to 100, so therefore I'm not going to bother like giving them a free-to-play option for 3 months or something like that, and force people like me who are really happy with the purchase to try and buy more packs. But it's just not going to work for me. I'm happy to keep him as he is, stood there right now. Okay, Broxy's just getting a team together for that. Just see what's that. I need. Yeah, you need to upgrade your assessment rank to upgrade your forbidden text. Yeah, I do. Put it this way: I'm not going to recommend spending £100 on anything in a game. It's just I don't do that. You know what I mean? But if you have ever spent money in the game before, and you comparing it to other things you can buy on, then it is by far the best thing to spend money on in the game right now. That I am thinking about. But let's have a look at some of the other stuff that you can get. I mean, these are okay, but you just get an extra resources. You get loads of them. The treasury, I've got enough of that already. I get some more resources, and you get officers that are a bit meh that you might use every now and again. Let's go to some of these, like station the buildings, station upgrade pack. Right, that's going to get you two upgrades, maybe 3 upgrades. Again, they're probably the only ways if you want to get into like 65, 67, 69, etc. You just got to dump cash into the game, aren't you? So, and if people want to do that, I think good on them, and if they got the money to be able to spend it, I have no problem, because I've said before, there's a lot worse things in life that you can spend your money on than Star Trek Fleet Command. But there's also a lot better things you could do as well, and you know, you shouldn't spend that money if you can't afford it. Yeah, okay. So how long have we been going? About an hour. I did want to keep this around about an hour, because I didn't really want to bore people too much for too long. And I'm going to do another one on Sunday. And on Sunday, I'm going to talk about lat mining Monday and how you can set yourself up on a Sunday to get 5 billion points on a Monday. You might think, well, I can do that. You see, it's not that hard. It's really easy to do if you're around about my ops level, maybe from like 56, 57 onwards. I'll talk about a few ways you could do it lower ops as well, for people that want to do that. And also heroic spend events. If you're trying to complete heroic spend events these days on upgrading buildings or research, you're pretty much screwed. You just can't do it. So I'll explain a way that I tend to always complete every heroic SMS spend event. It might run out eventually being able to do it, but I've been able to do it now for months on end and just keep doing the same thing over and over again, and being able to complete them heroic spend events, which always gets you the new officers that are in them spend events unlocked, and sometimes to tier 2. So that's worth keeping an eye out for. Actually, before I closed, I don't want to go yet. I did want to talk about strategies for Echoes of War. So as you can see, I'm doing quite well in this particular one. In fact, I should win this now. I would hope. But so the first thing to know is, like, if you are online and your alliance are running Xindi Armadas, then join them. You know what I mean? It's like, it's as Armadas have been around ages and they are a bit boring, but it gets people talking in alliance chat, and you can see 3 minutes, 4 minutes. So people are chatting, and you know, you've got to type in. The way that we do it is that you've got to say in and then the name of the person who started the Armada, and then if it's really busy and like load the name, just scroll on really quickly, then the person who started that Armada has got to say full and then name the people who are in it. If it's not that busy, then you're okay, because you can kind of just, you know, it's obvious, so people just says full, or they'll say I'm now speeding up. And that's a new thing nowadays, is we don't like hanging about waiting for 15 minutes or 10 minutes. So we just speed them up basically, and then we can move on to the next one. But yeah, the first strategy is be online and, you know, help out your alliance, and you know that's the number one thing that's going to help the most. The next thing is just always look at like the scoring. I know that sounds obvious, but people don't read the scorings. They just go and do stuff. So like the additional scoring here gets you extra points from ISO damage and crit damage. So as you can see, like I showed before, what I did, I just stuck as much extra crit damage lower decks officers that I've got onto my crew, because that gives me extra points. Make sure that your crew, you know, you're maxing out your chance to do critical damage. Now, yeah, I know, like Sanchez is saying, is a way to win this, have a load of primes. Yeah, well, yeah, it does help, but you know, like, you know, and I've said this before, I've never bought more than one prime a month, and I've not bought one for 3 months. So I kind of just, obviously I've just bought the Lorca one, but I've cut back a bit on, and I will only buy them if I do think that they're worthwhile. So yeah, I mean, having crit damage, crit chance, ISO damage is probably a key to winning most things and being pretty strong in PvP. Now, that don't mean you're going to go and beat a G6 rare. Just not going to happen. It don't mean that you're going to go and beat a level 60 G5 epic with your Sompek. But it does mean that in my 755 million Sompek, I can kill 1.5 to 1.6 billion G5 epics, so you can really shoot up, you can really kill upwards. And I'm hoping with the new Lorca ability, I've no idea what that's going to do. It's going to be brutal. Anyway, PvP is one for another day. But so that's just my basic strategy for this. Make sure you're online, run them, and max out your crit damage on them particular armadas. I don't think there's much more you can do on that. This one, the SMS, you've either stacked up a load of directives to complete that, or you haven't. So your only strategy is to buy more or live with the fact you're not going to complete it, which I'm fine with. And then you got this one, which goes on for 50 days. Well, the first thing you can do is win your LB event. So that's going to get you 200,000 points. So if I win this, I'm going to get 200,000 points, which is going to dwarf anything that's happening currently in doing this. Make sure you complete all the SMS events, which you should be able to do. But if it's a heroic one, you're not going to be able to do. So, we'll see. And then this one, defeating Armada. So I do have a little tip for that, and it can kind of make you the best of the rest. Like defeating Armadas here is never going to win you this SLB in a million years, because the person who comes first is going to get 200,000 points. You're not going to run 200,000 Armadas. But let's say there's quite a few people around the same points. Then what you can do is run. Let me see if I can find these. Did this the other day. Oh, I looked at this earlier. Where was it on my list? Oh, no. Quick group armor, as I have it called. You can go here, and you can run these, and the 20. It only costs 20 uncommon directives. This is in Pandosia. I think there's a few zones where these, I call them coffin armadas. So whenever you've got something where you just get points for killing an armada, just one of them, don't matter what they are, go to these zones. And you can literally just, they're so weak, you have loads of you, just stack them up and just kill them. And you just kill loads of them, they just spawn all the time. So if an entire alliance go here, you can just constantly work the entire zone for like 2 hours and you just rack up points. And there's like 20 uncommon directives to start. So I think that's gonna join, okay. Oh, have you already run it? No, there. Second, I'm in. Oh, good JC. Oh, wait, sorry JC, I'm in. I'm too busy talking. Oh, good to see JC in the thing. I'll give you a few shout outs, mate, for some of the cool stuff that you've done, and I like your ships very much. JC, nice guy as well. He invited me out to his amazing business that he's got going on over there in Sweden. So I still need to get out there and see him, mate. That would be really good fun. So yeah, so there we go. You could do that. So the reason why you would do that is just because, like I said, if you couldn't score him, defeat one armada, it doesn't matter whether it's a level 65 armada or whether it's a level 20 armada. So you kind of want to do like something with very, very few directives to start and lots of them. But don't expect to win it from that. You're only going to win this if you win this. So I've got a reasonable chance because if they're all damage-based events, I do hit pretty hard for my ops level, and that means because I'm top of the almost top of the tree in terms of the level 59, the next one's level 60. It means I can probably win the, but when I move up to the next level, I'm going to be up against Steer, Vulp, JC, Maverick, Berg, Marrow, all them crews. I'm going to be somewhere down the bottom unless it's a grind event, and then I'll have to spend hours doing it. So make hay while the sun is shining when you are top of your brackets, because as soon as you move up to the next one, it's hard work, but it's actually sometimes a bit of a relief because you can just spend and not worry too much about it. But still, I mean, most of the time I'm lumped in with like up to level 70. This is quite rare that they've kind of done a category to 60. I've complained actually directly to Scorpio on this, and they've actually PM'd me on the I did it on the actual Galaxy chat on the official Discord. I was like, why have you done a faction reputation event and put me in with a level 65 to 70 when one day for them gets hundreds of millions, like billions of points just from clicking the dailies, and I'd have to grind for hours to get a few billion, if not days, to do it. And they agreed with me, and then they actually relaunched the event and changed the brackets. And then listen to this, the next time they ran it, they cocked the brackets up again and they did it up to 70s. So I replied back to them and said, you've just done the exact same they did last time. They didn't reply to me, but then the next one, they put it back down again. So you get frustrated sometimes with the event runners, but I do think they're getting a bit better. The game's got bugs in it, but generally, I don't mind it. I don't get as upset as other people do generally about things. I like a good moan now and again, but the game is what it is. And like, people complain when a new orc launches and it's slow, but it always is slow. So you just need to learn that it is going to be slow and expect bugs and expect things to go wrong. But sometimes as well, the bugs are good. You can max out your matrix building because they've messed something up, or they release a pack that's totally messed up and gives you far too much than it should do. So I do think when new packs and stuff come out and new arts come out, it's the best time to just have a little look, to see what's out there, to see what they're doing wrong, because they're equally likely to do something wrong that's good for you than the odds that's something bad for you. It's just that you always remember the bad stuff. That's gone wrong for you. But if you're smart, you can kind of make hay while sunshine again when they mess something up that's good for you. As long as you're not exploiting, you should never exploit. So if it's like a clear and obvious exploit, I would just report it as a bug and tell them. But if they bring a pack out that's totally whacked and allows you to max something, or they do bring an event out where until they change the scoring. Oh well, that rare didn't do much damage, did it? Oh, I didn't get many points though because we got some right beasts in. JC's brought that ship, yeah. Not too bad though, it all ticks over. Say thanks for that. Oh no, I don't like that. Don't like me saying that. I mean, just on that, by the way, them rares. I've been doing the Armadas all the time. Absolutely nowhere near starting a rare. Look at this. Oh, I can start one. I got what's this? I got that. That's brilliant. Brilliant. Just complaining and saying it were going to take me years to start one. And oh, I hope JC starts. I'm going to do. Yeah, JC's joining. That's fine. I really thought I would nowhere near being able to start them. That must have been because I've been running all these, and I've done a few refines recently. Yeah, I'm surprised I've been able to start one of them. Yeah. I mean, Obo mentions a point there. It's like I've been playing this game since it started, 2019, so like that. So there was a point where like our server used to be a lot more fractured than it is now. Even though we still got alliances who don't get on brilliantly with each other. It's not as fractured as it used to be. Some people always used to think I worked for Scopely. Just because I used to kind of keep in touch with the game, kind of half understand kind of what were going on, and like make an educated guess about what might come next. A whole host of reasons, but people thought I was a Scopely employee, and I'm like, no. And I'm not. And some people thought I was just an artificial intelligence. A lot of people thought I weren't a real person, and I was just like an AI that kind of works in the background that makes people buy packs. So unless this is a hologram, which it's not, I assure you. So yeah, this is the first time I've recorded myself to go onto the internet. I have to do this crap with work all the time. But yeah, I didn't even realise I could start one of them rare ones, so that's quite good. Oh, let me join that one as well. Oh no, maybe not. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. No, I can't get in. Yeah, I can't get in that one. It's a bit annoying because I spent one of mine, but it's fine. It's fine. Oh, it's got to hit in. Yeah. Anything else then before we go off? I don't think there is. I'm probably going to just run more of these than the Armadas tonight, and probably log off and watch a bit of the Lord of the Rings with my wife, because she's annoyed that I'm doing streams. I said I'm only doing these because I want to learn about how to do streams. So when my son wants to do it going forward, I'm kind of ahead of the game. I know what's happening. I understand everything. But in doing it, I'm one of those people who like to give my best whenever I do something. So, I'm going to get a good go and try and do consistent streams around the content of this game. And I feel like I can give quite a lot back to people who want to learn some of these things. And I'm normally one of the first people that works stuff out when the arc starts. So as soon as the new arc comes out, I kind of do all the science and figure it all out. And up to now, I'll post on DJ's Talking Trek forum. I'll post on Galaxy Chat, and I kind of talk to people, give all the information I can do, so they can collect it all. So I thought it'd be quite nice to be able to have a platform now to share what I've find out in something like this, and I'll still give the information out to the community as well, and I'll still be supporting the DJ one because I think it's a really good high production podcast. I really like it. I think he does a great job on it, and he's much, he's really polished. He's got a good team and a crew there. But he's the only one I really watch. I do watch a bit of Rev Juice's videos. I like him. He's a bit more down to earth, chilled out, cool, and I know he does more of the lower content stuff as well. So I like Rev as well. He's pretty good. But they're the only two I really watch now and again. But yeah. I think I'm probably going to end it there. How long have we been going? We've been going for an hour and 20 minutes. I know they say you should do these for like 2 hours minimum, but I don't think so. Like people just get a bit bored. I might do some now and again where it's a bit more less structured one than these when I'm just coming online and playing. But that's it really. So like hopefully people found that quite useful. I will put this up on the internet for people who not seen it who might want to watch it because I think some of the information is quite useful. And thanks TK Max for your comment there. That's really appreciated, mate. I will put it up there. I think there's some useful information out there for people who may be thinking about getting FC Lorca, wanting to know the impact of it. And as I uncover new stuff or just want to share more information I've learned about the game, I will put it out there. And it's been great to have the community along with me. So I'm going to flip over to this now because I've not figured out how to stop this properly. So cheers all. Look at that horrible, looks horrible, doesn't it? Bye.